All right.
What's going on? Matt Melvin here. Who are we with today?
Me, Jalapeno Biz.
What's up, Jalapeno?
Oh my gosh, and the ghost's back.
Ah,
The ghosts are back.
Damn ghosts.
If you haven't seen the
Yeah,
other episode.
if you haven't seen episode 2, then you won't get it. So obviously, to be in the loop with these inside jokes, you gots to watch the episodes.
But today is a different day, and today we are going to talk about Star Wars.
Yeah, man. So Star Wars has rebloomed since the old grainy episodes. Was it 4, 5, and 6? And now we got a whole cast of new characters. Hell yeah! I was excited. I still am, but obviously there's some things to talk about there.
You already watched it, right?
So I did watch the newest one, Rise of Skywalker. Let's start with what our expectations were before the episode or before the movie came out. So my expectations, obviously you hear at the very end or some of the trailers, Palpatine's voice coming through, Rise of Skywalker is the title. What could it mean? I thought for one that since we didn't know still who Rey was, I thought Rey was going to turn out to be a Skywalker. It was just going to be cheesy, like straight to the point. Clearly I was wrong. But yeah, man, so it was pretty much for me, she's going to end up being a super good girl and win the day. Yeah, you know. Classic Star Wars.
For me, one prediction was that Rey and Kylo Ren were going to get together, and they were going to have a little baby, and then it was going to be Skywalker.
So you initially, before watching the movie, said that Rey and Kylo were going to get together, and they were going to have a little baby, and it was going to be Baby Yoda.
Baby Yoda.
And that little baby was going to be the new Rise of the Skywalker. Is that correct?
I did. I think I was half right.
So, okay, so you were pretty much spot on then, huh?
So, I guess with that being said, did you like the movie?
I didn't love the movie. The movie was a good overall cap, on the shitty bottle of what is it? The Last Jedi left for us. So they did cap a lot of those things that I was upset about. I didn't like the love interest at the end or the kiss. I just didn't. I didn't think it was needed. But overall, it was a good movie. A lot of great action. The Palpatine was gold. I thought that was a win. They brought Palpatine back, that he was able to use the powers that he was trying to get from Sidious about how to, live forever kind of thing. But for sure, man, I thoroughly enjoyed the movie. If I had to give it a rating, it'd be a 7.5 out of 10. Not a perfect movie, but it was an overall great movie. But yeah, man.
I would say it was pretty good. I think for me, I would go with like an 8, maybe even an 8.5 out of 10. I enjoyed it a lot. I really liked it. There was more things that I liked about it than things that I didn't like about it.
So you give it an 8 or an 8.5? Wow.
Before we get too deep into this, it's gonna be spoilers galore.
Oh, I already spoiled a lot of stuff.
You kind of did, but not really. Nothing. I don't think nobody already knew. But let's go through this. Let's go through the whole plot right now, and then we'll get some feedback from what you're talking about. So let's go scene by scene here. I'm just reading off of the Wikipedia. So Kylo Ren is looking for the Sith Wayfinder so he can go find the planet Exegol. And that's where we see Palpatine for the first time, and he is fucked up.
Yeah, he does not look good. Palpatine, the first time we see Palpatine, so I guess it worked that he was able to revive himself, but it's not a proven science, or it's not like 100%. I don't think he first saw that. I thought he was just gonna be like, yeah, oh yeah, I'm back and I'm good now. Nope, he is disgusting zombie version of himself.
He's hanging on like this weird robotic arm thing with like all this stuff injected into him, barely hanging on, but it was honestly kind of creepy. Like that whole scene, it's a little scary, you know what I mean? Like shit. Yeah, it was cool.
I loved it though. I'm tired of Star Wars being Disney,
like kiddie. You want it to be more adultish.
Yeah, a little bit more gritty, just a little bit more dark. That was super cool for me. I love Palpatine. I read the books and everything, so I knew how Palpatine came up from Darth Sidious, and how he ended up killing Darth Sidious. And Darth Sidious' main thing was how to live forever. And the Sith have a rule of two, and the dark side of the Force. Like if you read the books on Darth Bane and Darth Maul and all the bad guys. There's some real cool content in there. Yeah, it's the evil side, whatever. I guess I'm more of a Sith guy. But seeing Palpatine and the grittiness of him, and it was for sure a big improvement from the last the Last Jedi. And it was real cartoony in that movie, and fucking Luke is milking cow titties, and it just it just bothered me the way they did that. So to see a darker, grittier version of their interpretation of Star Wars, for sure was a level up for me. Palpatine was what got me excited when I saw the movie.
Okay, so right in that scene, like in the first 5 to 10 minutes, that's when we see Snoke in the little vat of clone juice. That's when Palpatine says to Kylo, who do you think all those voices inside your head were? How do you feel about Snoke just being a puppet?
The thing that bothered me a lot was that Snoke was supposed to be the guy. He was supposed to be the real deal running the show. He was a huge, obviously it turned out to be a projection of him, but a huge, scary character. And in The Last Jedi, he just died for no reason. He was like, and now he's dead. That was a huge, great way to make up for that. Dude, that guy was just a puppet. The real guy's behind the scenes. And that's kind of how the Sith operate behind the scenes. So, I did like that they covered that end as far as Snoke not just being a lost cause. There was something bigger behind it.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of this movie, I think, was a lot of course correction. Okay, this is what happened. We need an answer for this, and this is where we're at now. Some of the stuff was interesting, and the way they went about it. But let's keep going down here, and we'll get deeper into that later. So let's see, and then Palpatine unveils a secret armada of Star Destroyers. Bump into Rey, and she's doing some floaty levitation meditation thing with BB-8 there in the corner, and all these rocks are around her floating.
It's a montage homage to Luke's training.
Luke's training on Dagobah with Yoda. I think it's the first time that we actually see Leia, aside from in The Last Jedi, actually show or train somebody. I guess to me, watching 4, 5, and 6, I never really thought of her as Force sensitive. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, all of a sudden, boom, sprung up. She's Force sensitive. She had been trained, or Luke had trained her, and all of this. I kind of, that was fine with me, I guess. I just kind of, everything just got sprung up like that. Surprise, she's a Jedi Master. What? She's got special powers. Is kind of out of nowhere. I didn't really expect that at all.
And they just sprung that up on us on the last episode.
Yeah, it was a big surprise.
Yeah, they're like, surprise, motherfucker. Yeah, she's got powers now.
Moving on from there, let's see. We have Finn and Poe, who were gathering some intel from a spy that they had within the First Order. There was a spy in there, and he's actually in Battlefront 2 now. Did you see him? Have you played as the Resistance yet?
I haven't played him yet, but I saw him. I was watching some Twitch streams.
Yeah, I was like, hey, look. I named him Billy on one of my streams because I didn't know his name.
Oh, Billy.
And then all of a sudden, not even 2 minutes after we get introduced to Billy, we get his head on a table, and he's dead. His head got chopped off, and he was dead. That was it. That was his story.
Yeah. So Finn and Poe had a interesting character arc. where they were butting heads with each other. It added to the already super complex kind of storyline where there's like 17 different storylines going on at once. But I didn't hate it. It was good. They were kind of butting heads about stuff and decisions, and it wasn't a bad thing. So Finn and Poe, their storyline was good. It wasn't, and it kept going on with. I was impressed because it was not cartoony. It wasn't simple stuff, and they stayed really out of the political realm, which they didn't do on. I think it was The Last Jedi, where things were really about like, I don't know, things felt political.
Oh, are you talking about when they went to that gambling planet and then you find people who were like selling, who are profiting off of the war? There's like, oh, we sell weapons to the Resistance and we sell stuff to the Empire or the First Order.
Yeah, I mean, just little tidbits in The Last Jedi. I think they caught it. I think they caught on, which is good, and it just shows that, hey, audience's voice does matter. Kind of change things. For God's sakes, we recreated Sonic, you know, when they tried making the live action. So our voices are being heard. That's good. So they did stay away from that on this. Finn and Poe's kind of character arc. I didn't love it, but it was good.
Yeah. And then from there, where did we go? After they were getting that spy info, Rey also learns that she needs to find a Sith Wayfinder. That way she can get to Exegol. And Leia reveals that there is an ally on Pasana, which is some other like deserty planet that might be able to help. So Rey, Finn, Poe, Chewbacca, BB-8, and C-3PO leave on the Millennium Falcon. And while they are there, the group encounters Leia's contact, who is none other than Lando Calrissian.
Hey, I love seeing Lando. One of the last guys they didn't kill from the original series. So Lando shows back in. That was good. I actually damn near stood up and applauded when I saw Lando pop in. I was like, yeah, that's my dude, Lando. Yeah, so that was cool, seeing Lando back and not be an old dirtbag like they love making.
Lando's back, and he points them to the direction of where they suspect the last Wayfinder, because that's where Luke was apparently tracking it with Lando on that planet. So they went to go look for that. Mm-hmm. And then Kylo learns where Rey is through their Force bond, and he travels there with the Knights of Ren.
So this is
the first time we see the Knights of Ren.
And still barely.
Yeah,
still
not
barely,
a lot,
right?
but we got a little bit more
for
out
sure.
of it.
So the last time we saw the Knights of Ren was just via visions that Rey had when she touched the lightsaber for the first time. So that was that first little tidbit that we got out of them. But then, so I really did like how... So I still don't understand the Force bond that they share. That's the one thing that led me to believe that Rey and Kylo were related. That they had this Force bond. I don't understand how it works. No one else has had it. No one else has ever had this interaction.
It's very rare.
But it was pretty cool. It's pretty cool that things transfer back and forth from reality into their kind of Bond world, and that's how he finds out where the heck they are.
It's weird because, like, I guess he doesn't see where she is, right? Like, that's what they make it out to be. Like, they don't see where each other are.
No, they just kind of see each other, and then I guess things just fall out of that limbo zone into
so, like,
the reality.
What do they see? Do they just see, like, black around like each other?
I imagine so.
Like when 11 goes into the upside down, or not the upside down, but that black room.
Yeah, I have no idea how it works at all, and they don't do anything to explain it. That's okay. They don't need to explain every little thing. That was one of the things that people were pissed off about on episode 1 when they explained midichlorians, you know, that it was a genetic thing, and that kind of bothered people. So they don't need to explain everything, but that's one of the things that leaves a big question mark And I guess that's the beauty of this sci-fi world, that we can not know everything and still be like, yeah, I get that.
Yeah, you just let things slide a little bit. So from there, Rey and the others discover the remains of an assassin, Ochi, his ship and his droid, and a dagger inscribed with Sith text. So C-3PO's programming forbids him from interpreting. That's
that scene pissed me off. I was like, what? No. So when C-3PO actually is able to decipher the Sith scripture, or whatever it was, the
Sith script
writing on there, and he was like, oh, my programming does not allow me to. I was like, whatever, you asshole, just freaking break the code.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. I didn't know C-3PO could read Sith text, but like, why would it be banned?
Well, wasn't he made by Luke though? Luke made him.
He was made by Anakin.
Yeah, he was. My bad, that was me. He was made by Anakin. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't fully understand that either. But it gave that kind of, oh snap, here's another challenge we have to overcome, which did lead them to that cool hippy dippy, what is that, a Burning Man kind of.
Oh yeah, the Burning Man festival.
Yeah, so the fact that C-3PO couldn't decipher the text, or couldn't say what the text was, it was okay.
Yeah, it was odd. It was definitely like an odd little thing. But once they figure out that C-3PO is forbidden from interpreting it, they find out that there's a guy that they can go talk to on a different planet that would be able to possibly decode the information. So meanwhile, that's happening. Kylo is nearby, and Rey senses it, so she goes to confront him. And then the First Order captures the Falcon, Chewbacca, and the dagger. And attempting to save Chewbacca, Rey accidentally destroys a First Order transport with Force lightning.
Yeah, so
that was crazy.
That was freaking awesome. So when Rey uses she's just fighting for everything, and she ends up having this aha moment that she can actually freaking shoot laser beams out of her freaking fingers, man. That was super cool, and that's where we start leading to, hey, you're a Palpatine, my dude. So I don't remember, did they break that news already before this happened?
Nope.
No, so that was a little hint, and right when I saw that, I was like, yo, I've only seen one person ever do that. I was already leading that way. I didn't think that, though. They still shocked me when they gave that news. But yeah, when she blows that thing up, thinks she kills Chewbacca. Yeah,
I was crushed cool. A little bit. I was crushed inside.
I know. I hate that they keep killing off our old, the old characters, the old, founders. But so I was like, dang, again. I don't know how much more I can take, So, but yeah, that was pretty cool.
It was pretty crazy. Just that whole scene where they were like pulling down, like Rey was trying to pull the ship back just with force, and then you had Kylo over there just pushing the ship away, and she just got super pissed and launched some lightning. Come on.
And I like the scene that we see in every trailer where she turns, she's running away from one of the TIE fighters, and she does some cool backflip and does all that.
That was fucking cool.
Even though I've seen it 100 times by watching the trailers, it was cool to actually see it play through, on how it played through. And obviously they added to it, but it was pretty cool. Either way, I really enjoyed that scene.
That was ridiculously awesome. That was freaking cool. That was one of the coolest scenes in the movie. So let's see. There you go. So Chewbacca, presuming Chewbacca's been killed, the group escapes on Ochi's ship, which is where they found the dagger. And then Poe suggests traveling to Kijimi to have the Sith text extracted from C-3PO's memory. And the process, basically, if they do that, then his memory is going to get wiped. So that was like their next conundrum, where they had to figure like, okay, well, all these memories that you have of us, they're gonna be gone, and you're not gonna know who we are.
Yeah, so when they have to figure out a way to get C-3PO's hard drive, hack into the mainframe kind of thing, that was pretty. It was cool. It felt a little pointless, frankly, the entire freaking universe is at stake here. I would have just wiped that dude like without even thinking about it. But
He's your friend, man.
I know, but hey, man, so we've literally everybody makes sacrifices in this world, so you're gonna have to make one too, dude. Peace. But I like that little alien that works
Babu
on his
Freak.
head.
Babu Freak.
Yeah, that thing was cool.
He was freaking funny, man. I like Babu Freak too. Okay, well, they do that. They end up they're like debating, oh, should we do it? No, should we not? And this whole time the First Order's there and they're busting down doors, and they're like, you know what, okay, fuck it, let's do it, let's wipe this guy's memory. And then that's when we get that scene we see in the trailer where he's like, oh, saying one look good at my friends, or one good look at my friends before I say bye. And then right when he's about to wipe his memory, he's like, oh, I think I found another way. And then boom, his memory gets wiped. Which I thought was a little bit funny. And then Babu Freak's like, oh, okay, whatever. Then there's a little comedic moment between Babu Freak and C-3PO. And he ends up revealing where the Wayfinder is. Meanwhile, Rey is sensing that Chewbacca is alive, and the group mounts a rescue mission while Kylo searches for Rey. The group infiltrates his Star Destroyer with the help of Zori Bliss, and that's like, I don't know who she is. She's the girl who had like that gold helmet. I guess she's like a bounty hunter or something. I really don't know who. Well, it's the first time we've seen her that at least I know of. So I have no clue, but she ended up doing some odd jobs, I guess, and she ended up getting her hands on this captain's chip, or a chip that basically lets her get past any blockade because she wanted to leave the planet, because it's really like heavily infiltrated with the First Order presence. So that was her way off of the planet. She gives it to Poe and Rey and everybody so they can go save Chewbacca. So that's how they got into that starship. Rey recovers the dagger and has visions of her parents being killed with it. So once she touches it, boom, visions. Visions. So that like, we haven't seen that other than the first episode, right? Like, no one's really talked about it in terms of like when you touch something or like an object, you get like a force vision.
Yeah, no, that's an entirely new thing. But I guess they got to keep their powers fresh somehow.
In Star Wars: The Fallen Order, the video game, the character you have does have force touch. So like he can do that too. Like he can do that thing Rey does. But apparently it's like, again, super rare, and it's not something that's regular.
It's a rare power up.
Rare power up. So Kylo
douchebag's name.
Kylo Ren walks in. He's like, "Hey, I know who your parents are," and so then that's when we get this correction from The Last Jedi, where he's like, your parents were nobody, but they chose to be nobody. It was they wanted to protect you, and blah blah blah. And then boom, drops the bomb that she is Palpatine's granddaughter, and Palpatine was trying to get Rey from his son, which we didn't even know he had a son.
Nope.
But
Who would sleep
That-
with Palpatine?
I don't know. Great question.
It's gross.
Now he had a son, and I guess he decided to estrange himself once his dad went cray cray, and he was with the Senate, and then he disappeared. He was trying to escape with Rey, and I guess Palpatine gave him the order to kill him. Pow pow, kill my son and his wife and take the baby.
Take the baby.
But the baby, what I don't even know what happened. They left her, right? They left her on the planet in Jakku, and then they bounced, and then they got stabbed. After that, I guess is what the timeline was.
Yeah, that's what I got out of it.
Poe, Finn, and Chewbacca ended up getting captured trying to rescue Chewbacca from the First Order. They're running, boom, got busted. They're on their way to get executed. And then you find General Hux ends up walking right there, and he's like, you know what? I want to do this. Give me the gun. Takes the gun, and then, boom, he's the spy. And I was like, the hell?
Yeah.
How is he the spy?
I was like, no way.
This whole time.
Yeah. That was the ultimate surprise there.
Were you fine with that?
With him being the spy?
Yeah.
Well, his reasoning was he absolutely just fucking hates Kylo Ren, so...
Yeah.
Yeah. It was definitely a curveball. I did not expect that. He ends up getting what comes to him anyways. But... yeah, I did not expect that whatsoever. Am I okay with it? That one was one of the things that felt kind of corny to me. Like, okay, oh, we got you kind of moment. But
I thought it was a little odd. There was like some things with certain characters that we'll get into later that I just didn't feel were there. Like the way that their arcs ended, or like their stories ended, or where their stories were. Like I wasn't a fan.
Okay.
Didn't connect with me.
Yeah, he was like the head hunch, though. He was like the ultimate bad guy of non-Sith,
So Hux saves Poe, Finn, and Chewie from execution, revealing himself as a spy. He permits the group to escape on the Falcon, but then later he ends up telling Finn to shoot him in the arm so he can make it look like they overpowered him.
He shoots him in the leg instead.
Yeah, shoots him in the leg.
That was the ultimate douchebag move.
The next time we see him, he's like, "Oh, they got away," and at this point, I mean, Kylo Ren knows that there's a spy somewhere. He doesn't know who it is, but he knows. And so later you find Hux saying, "Oh, they got away," whatever. Boom, gets executed. That guy shoots him. Yeah. So after that, the group arrives on Kef Bir. That's where Rey locates the Wayfinder on the remains of the second Death Star. This like watery planet with those big ass waves that looked really, really awesome. Kylo was tracking them at this point as well. So Kylo ends up destroying the Wayfinder that Rey has, and then they begin to lightsaber duel in the best way possible.
Was a great lightsaber.
That whole freaking scene was amazing.
And with the water crashing, the huge ass waves. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That last lightsaber duel. So episode 3 for me has one of the best lightsaber duels. This one was up there with them.
But this is the second time they fight, right?
They fight before. They fought in the woods. In the very first one, they fought in the woods.
And then they fought in the Red Room, but they fought together in the Red Room when they were fighting Snoke. That was also really, really cool.
That was a great scene. It just had a shitty plot where they're just going to kill Snoke for no reason. And
then in this one, I think they met already, but they were more like force battling in one. right?
Yeah.
And then I think they used their lightsabers a little bit, but they were primarily like just using their Force abilities, and then after that, they met here, and then they had another lightsaber duel there, which was really, really cool. It was really awesome to see. And then from there, so Leia, a dying Leia, like she knows what she has to do because she feels that Kylo and Rey are fighting, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, I need to reach him. I need to call to Kylo through the Force. So she calls to Kylo through the Force. He drops his lightsaber, and then Rey picks it up and stabs him.
Rey, yeah. So, what's her name? Leia's last little hurrah where she reaches out and she's like, "My baby." That was kind of far fetched for me. Like, then they even said it like, "Oh, she enabled, and in order to reach him, she needs to use all her power that she has left." And,
well, that's what Luke did too.
right, and in The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess you're right.
Because that's the way he ended up. But he projected himself, so like that was way more.
Yeah, way more
power. And
she
I guess
just was like, "Hey, baby." She just like Skyped him or something.
Yeah, she Skyped him real quick. She's like, "Hey, okay, bye."
Hey, so don't be bad anymore, please. Okay.
And then dead.
And then Han Solo comes back too for a little cameo.
Yeah, see, I don't understand that part either. That was also a little odd.
Because he's not a Force ghost.
Yeah, he's not a Force ghost.
Because you have to be either a Jedi to be a Force ghost. So, yeah, that one, he shouldn't have been back. I guess they just wanted to, once again, kind of make amends for killing him off so unneededly in The Last Jedi. But Han Solo's little cameo didn't need to happen. It should have just been, because he already tried once and failed, because obviously he's like, "Oh, I got to do something. I don't know if I have the power to," and then he kills his dad. It should have been, "Hey, the mom came, she tried, and she succeeded somehow."
But I mean, it could have been like a test from like Palpatine or something.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because at that point he was like, "I don't know if I have the strength to do this again." He's like, "I don't know if I can kill you again."
Yeah, but that was a good way to transition it from from the Sith side to the light or to the Jedi side. I accepted that one. That didn't feel too corny to me.
Yeah, kill Kylo Ren and then rise Ben Solo. What I also want to know, or Ben Skywalker. What I also want, was this before this was after Rey healed him, right?
This was.
He saw Han after
she heals him during the battle in the waves. So this was after.
So she stabs him,
then
yeah, she stabbed him, and then he realizes, and they both realize that Leia just died, that Leia like passed away, and then she ends up healing him. They end up like, I don't know, saying like truce or whatever, and from there then Han Solo comes, and then that's when he throws his lightsaber
into the ocean.
I was like, "Why'd you throw your lightsaber?"
Yeah, it was a cool lightsaber. Right? You gotta throw it. Just change the color.
I was a little like, "Oh, okay. I guess you can throw your lightsaber away."
It was so much build up, a lot of build up, so much confrontation, so much conflict, so much, and then it's just like, "Oh, I saw my mom and dad. I changed my mind." So, yeah, it was a big build up, and it wasn't the crescendo I thought it was gonna be. It was more of a okay kind of thing. Well, he's gonna be good now.
Yeah, and while Kylo is just there mourning the loss of his mom and getting stabbed in the chest, Rey steals Kylo's ship and then just bounces.
Yeah, he's like, "All right, peace."
She's like, "Peace, I'm out," and she goes to
Octomom.
And then there, she ends up wanting to go to exile just like Luke did. Was that the planet? That wasn't the planet that he was. Oh, it was, right? That was the planet we found Luke after episode 7. And she had just destroyed Kylo Ren's ship, set it on fire, and she was all ready to pretty much like throw in the towel and give everything up, and so she ended up throwing the lightsaber into the fire, and Luke catches it with his Force Ghost powers.
Yeah, another homage to when he throws it away when she gives him the lightsaber. Now she throws the lightsaber away, and this is the time he catches it.
That was pretty cool. I thought it was cool. Did you notice like all these little like things that they did? Because I totally forgot. I totally forgot that they actually broke the lightsaber, Luke's lightsaber.
When?
In episode 8.
That they broke it.
Rey and Kylo Ren were fighting for it, and they were using the Force, and then they just snapped it in half. So like if you look at Rey's lightsaber now, it's the same lightsaber, except she welded it back together or whatever. Oh, and that's why she has that leather strap on it. I don't know if you noticed that leather strap.
No, I didn't catch that.
Yeah, she has that leather strap on it. So like she put it there to connect it back together, which I thought was pretty cool. Because I totally forgot that actually happened, that they broke it. So that was dope. So yeah, Luke is like, hey, don't do that. Like, you're not supposed to be here in exile. You're not supposed to exile yourself. I only did it out of fear. And he was like, I wasn't in my right mind, and I shouldn't have done that. And so he's pretty much saying, ignore the other movie.
Yeah.
And that was not me. And he comes up and he pulls out the freaking X-Wing from the water, and he's like, take my ship. And she pulls the Wayfinder that Kylo had in his little TIE fighter and threw it into the X-Wing, and then off she goes to fight Palpatine and face him in Exegol for like one big final battle, which is really cool. Where were Finn and Poe? Oh, they ended up going back. Finn and Poe went back to go give the news to Leia, and then that's when Chewbacca found out that Leia died. And that was so heartbreaking. I think that was more heartbreaking than Leia actually dying for me.
Yeah.
Like seeing Chewbacca just like bawl and fall to his knees. Yeah.
Yeah, so Chewbacca absolutely just breaks down when Leia dies. That's one of his last like core friends, you know. Obviously the dude's been alive for 500 years, so he's dealt with, you know, people passing a lot, but
that was sad.
That was pretty crushing.
I did cry there.
You cried on that one?
It was so I was wrecked. It was so wrecking. Crushed your heart. Did you not cry?
I didn't cry. I was just like, oh damn, that sucks.
Gosh.
You know.
Okay, so and I guess while all that stuff's going on, Palpatine's one of his Star Destroyers pops on, the Star Destroyers pops in from Lightspeed, and it's equipped with a giant ass mini Death Star. So he ends up obliterating. Yeah, he ends up obliterating Kijimi.
Yeah, and all of them, right? The entire fleet that Palpatine has all of those little mini Death Star rockets, or you know, and
yes.
So
every single ship has a little.
So
Death
now
Star
we're
rocket.
like, oh shit, you know, we're a little fucked here.
Wait, how'd you feel about the him calling it the Final Order?
That was, so it felt like they were in the pitch meeting when they finally called it the Final Order. It felt like they were sitting in the pitch meeting, you know, there at Lucasfilm and Disney, and they were there, and they're like, all right, guys, the Republic, the First Order, what do we call this one, guys? And they is it
the Empire again? Empire Part 2?
And I don't know. We'll get a name for it later. And then they're done with the movie and it's about to air, and they're like, "Oh my god, we didn't get a name for this thing, man. What do we call it?" The Final Order. It felt like they didn't try at all. The Final Order. It didn't sit well with me. I thought it was cheap.
Yeah, I thought it was a little odd too. I think the name could have been a little bit better. But once that happened, so he obliterates Kijimi, which is the planet they were on, where Babu Freak was and Poe's friends. Oh, and then you find out that Poe was a spice runner the whole time, which I thought was pretty funny.
Spice Girls. He's part of the Spice Girls.
Spice Girls. So they go back to base. That's when when Chewbacca finds out Leia's gone and all that stuff. They're going back to base. R2-D2 is bumps into C-3PO, and C-3PO doesn't remember him, so R2 decides to just, he's like, all right, I got you, and he gets his memory back, but he hadn't backed it up for a while, so he was like, oh, we need to go on this mission, and R2's like, yo, that already happened. And Rey ends up on her way to Exegol, like we mentioned earlier, and she's going to fight Palpatine. So she ends up setting the coordinates to Exegol, back to the Resistance, so they can be back up and go over there and destroy, because all of the destroyers have this little mini Death Star gun on them.
Yeah, big deal.
So then Rey ends up confronting Palpatine for the first time. This is the first time they interact, and he demands that she kills him, so that way he could transfer his spirit into her, and all of the Sith.
So they're like vampires now.
Yeah, they're all connected. So he wanted to transfer his spirit into Rey. So that was him. Like he was pushing her and doing all of that. And meanwhile, you have Poe and Finn trying to take down the Star Destroyer, and they're like, oh, we need to take out this one specific radio tower. And so they were targeting the radio tower, but then they figure out their plan. The Final Order figure out the plan, and so they're like, move the signal to this ship. So they move the signal to that ship, and then they have like horses on this fucking Star Destroyer just running down, which I thought was also kind of cool. But then my wife was like, are they not in space? And I was like, I guess they're still in the atmosphere. They haven't left the planet yet, so they're fine.
Who needs to think about real science?
No one needs oxygen. The Star Wars. So they have this whole freaking group of horses just charging down this ship, trying to take down the radio tower. And then Rey is just about had it, and she's already gonna kill Palpatine and like just end it.
Mm-hmm.
But she senses a little tingly feeling, and she knows that Kylo Ren is nearby.
Yeah.
And so he ends up they end up force connecting or whatever, and she puts the lightsaber behind her back, and then Kylo all of a sudden has a lightsaber. He was getting his ass kicked by the Knights of Ren, and
she had two lightsabers with her, right?
Yeah, she had two. Yeah, she had Leia's and she had Luke's, because Luke told her to take Leia's lightsaber. He's like, take both, you'll need them. And I thought she was gonna dual wield and just wreck shop.
Nah, but it was pretty cool that they had another fight together moment.
That was cool. Kylo took the Knights of Ren out by himself, and that was the last we ever saw of them, because they were all dead now. And it was just like 6 of them. Again. They're gone. So then once Kylo fights the Knights of Ren, he ends up going to Rey in the throne room, and he's just going to help her fight Palpatine, I guess. But Palpatine, then he pretty much drains their powers to rejuvenate himself. He figured he could like sense that they were connected somehow, and he was like, oh, that's nice. And then he like sucked some of their life force out of him, and he grew his finger back. And then once after he grew his finger back, then he's like, I want more. And then that's when we see him get his red Sith eyes, and he gets a dope ass robe.
So, have you seen that old Halloween movie Hocus Pocus?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what Palpatine's powers remind me of. he just sucks the life out of people, and he's like, oh, I am young again.
I have power. And then he like
Unlimited power.
And then he does like this fucking force lightning storm, and he starts taking out all these ships in the ships that Poe and everybody were on. I mean, they're just taking them out, and then you feel like there's no more hope. It's over. They won. But Kylo Ren is the first to get up, and he's the first to get up. Palpatine picks him up and throws him off a cliff because Vader threw him off of into a reactor. So he got his revenge, I guess you could say. And while that's all happening, Rey ends up getting up next, and then she has all the Jedi from the past with her. She starts meditating after she sees everybody getting force lightning out of the sky, and she says that thing that she was saying. Was it like be with me or something? I am with you, you're with me, something, I don't know. She's meditating her thing, and then you hear everybody. You hear Yoda, you hear Mace Windu, Qui-Gon Jinn, and Obi-Wan. I think Ahsoka Tano is in there. You just hear everybody from previous movies and series talking to her, saying that she can do it. She needs to do it. It's the last one.
You can do it.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. And so she gets up, and Palpatine's like, "What?" So he stops force lightning this freaking sky. And then he starts focusing on her, and he starts force lightning her. She catches it with her lightsaber, just like Mace Windu did. And she's struggling real hard. But Kylo left, or Ben, I guess, at this point, left his lightsaber back there. And so she grabs out of the lightsaber, makes like a X with Leia and Luke's lightsaber, deflects all of the force lightning back onto the Emperor, and then he gets roasted. He gets Thanos snapped with his own powers. And pretty much after that, she kills him, but she also kills herself, I guess. Yeah. She ends up dying as just because she...
Or so you think.
She ends up dying. She's dead. Kylo's there. He picks her up, puts her in his arms, and she's just dead. And so then he decides to sacrifice himself in order to bring her back to life, and transfers all of his life force into her. They kiss, and then Ben dies, becoming one with the
so
Force. The
whole thing with Rey and her being able to heal people, I believe the first time when she did it with the snake was that she gives a piece of her life to them, right?
But not a lot, because it's just like, that was like a little scratch.
So... when she did it to Kylo Ren, she literally saved his life. So that was a lot of life to give. So obviously he gives it back via little kissy kiss.
I think it was more like, well, to me that whole thing was Palpatine had just drained their life force from them, didn't he? Like, or force energy or something like that. That's why they were all just like passed out.
Super weak. Yeah.
And so like they were super weak, and
I just never saw a love interest in between them, and that's the one thing that bothered me.
There was some form of connection, right, that we saw in,
but not a love interest. Man, like,
give me my half point, all right?
He tried killing her multiple times. He was evil. He killed lots of he's the reason why she thought that she killed freaking Chewie. And they're like, you know what, I like you.
But she knew that he had good in him the whole time.
Yeah,
that was her thing.
But not enough to bang.
Hey man, you don't know what he's got.
I don't know what he's pecking. I don't know what size lightsaber he's got under there.
But that's pretty much it. So then, meanwhile, I forgot to mention that Lando came in with backup earlier. A lot earlier. Yeah, he came in with like 50 million ships. They just start destroying all the Star Destroyers and taking everybody out. And then the Emperor's gone, the Armada's gone, and they just start celebrating. And Rey visits. So pretty much, let's rewind here. They go back to their main rebel base, and they start celebrating and hugging, and everybody's like, "Yeah, you're alive! So excited! Can't believe it! We won! We finally won! It's over!" And then Rey ends up going to Tatooine, which I thought was super cool. That was also one of my other favorite parts in this movie. Rey going to Tatooine, and she goes and she's at Uncle Ben's moisture farm, and she ends up burying Leia and Luke's lightsaber in the sand, and then reveals that she converted her staff that she always carried with her into a lightsaber, and she's got an orange or yellowish orange blade. That was super cool. The lightsaber looks awesome. Cool. And then somebody, just a random person cruising the desert, asks her name. And this is the second time she got asked. She got asked when she was at the Burning Man festival thing. Somebody asked her, like, "Oh, what's some little alien girl was like, 'Hey, what's your name? Your given name?' And she's like, 'I don't have one. It's just Rey.'"
My name's Rey. Rey what? Billy Ray Cyrus.
Oh my god. And then this one, this lady asks her, "Hey, what's your name?" And she's like, "My name?" She looks off into the distance, and then we see a Leia Force Ghost and a Luke Force Ghost, and then she says, "My name is Rey Skywalker." And that's how it ends.
That. My name's Joe Dirt.
Dirte.
Joe Dirte.
But that was the Rise of Skywalker.
And that was the Rise of Skywalker.
I'm not upset with it. I think that what was done in a lot of course correction.
Yeah.
Like a lot of fan service was done in this film, but also a lot of course correction was done. Like, if you did, like, this to me it doesn't feel like the ending of a trilogy, let alone a saga, because this to me feels what The Last Jedi should have been.
Yes, so they spent a majority of the movie just correcting their shitty mistakes that they did in the last movie. If they had done this on episode 2, then hell yeah, it would have been way better than episode 3. I'm like, just like you, I'm not upset with the film, but I'm also I think there should have been a 4th, if not scrap the 3rd.
And I think ideally what I would do is like you honestly do not have to watch The Last Jedi to watch this movie.
No.
If you just watch episode 7,
Force Awakens,
then you watch episode,
and then Rise of Skywalker.
This one.
You'd be totally good.
That's it. That's all you need. You do not need The Last Jedi. And I mean, it's kind of a little disappointing because I feel like this should have been the sequel that we should have gotten from the whole series. But I mean, it is what it is. We got what we got. We can't change that. But I did want. Do you have any like final thoughts on this? Because I did have something I wanted to cover because it pertains to it. But like, is there anything else you wanted to say? Final thoughts?
My last little tidbits on the film was overall good film, good makeup as far as, oh snap, we totally bombed the second episode. I did like a lot of the grittiness. I hope they continue with that. Even things like The Mandalorian, or I absolutely would wish that they would do a Dark Side of Sith series. Talk about Darth Revan, Darth Bane, Darth Maul, Darth Sidious, but I do like the trajectory that they're going. I wish they had a lot more episodes in this trilogy continuing, because they're starting just now to make the kind of path that a lot of the fans are enjoying now. But we have, just like you said, we have what we have. I enjoyed it. I will, just like episode 1, 2, and 3. I'll never watch episode 1 again, but I can continuously watch it episode 3. And with this one, it just so happens to be The Last Jedi, and I would probably watch this one again, and enjoy it a lot more. But yeah, that's my tidbit.
Yeah, for me, I enjoyed it overall. I think it was a nice ride. I do want to see more of like. There was a one after Rey stabs Kylo Ren and he becomes Ben Solo.
Mm-hmm.
In between that scene and then when he shows up at the very end when he goes and helps Rey fight Palpatine, like I want to know what happened. Whether that be like a show or a comic book or something, I want to know what that little gap period was. Like, what did he do? Where was he? What was he doing? Because. Like where the hell did he go? You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden he just shows up. I would like to see a continuation of that story somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it would only be for like a day, so it'd be like maybe like a limited series at most. But I think probably the best thing for it would be a comic book or something, and I think that would be really cool.
For sure, man.
And then I do want more Rey stories, more Rey storylines.
I think they're done with her, to be honest.
Or a movie. They can't be done with Rey. She just
I
picked up the name Skywalker. How do you feel about her picking up the name Skywalker? Do you think she should have said, "I'm Rey Palpatine"?
It had to end that way. I mean, the Skywalker family, that's the pinnacle of this saga. So I'm not mad with it. That's okay. She never had a last name, so frankly, she can pick whatever the hell she wants. To hell with whatever blood's in her. I'm not upset.
One
with
thing
it.
I didn't want to touch before we wrap everything up is Rian Johnson. Before he directed The Last Jedi,
Mm-hmm.
he was on a podcast and he was saying how fan service is a mistake and he would rather challenge fans instead. So I don't know, have you heard about this, or if you have, what do you think?
I haven't.
Oh, okay, cool. So fresh eyes here. Okay,
fresh eyes. So on you have to listen to your fan base. Obviously you're gonna have your interpretation of what the storyline should be,
mm-hmm.
but to be a dictator in this, you end up with episode 1. You end up with something that when no one can tell you differently, and you don't kind of please the people that are watching your movie, your show, your series. That's when you kind of go wrong. You kind of go off the path of what you're making this for. Obviously, don't go off the deep end on fan service. You're not going to please everybody. You're not going to have Han Solo kicking down doors and shooting everybody in the face and being the super badass that he always was. But at the same time, there's some medium ground. Your interpretation for sure, but you have to give some of the things that your fans are asking for.
Okay, so I'm just gonna read what he said here. He says, this is a quote: "I think approaching any creative process with making fandom happy would be a mistake that would lead to probably the exact opposite result. Even my experience as a fan, if I'm coming into something, even if it's something that I think I want, if I see exactly what I think I want on the screen, it's like, oh, okay, it might make me smile and it might make me feel neutral about the thing, and I won't really think about it afterwards, but that's not really going to satisfy me." So that's his thing. But the thing I see with The Last Jedi, and I think the reason why it's it's not as well accepted as it, I guess, should be amongst fans, is because it's more of a movie like. The whole premise of that movie was let the past die, like forget everything you know about Luke, forget everything you know about Kylo Ren, because he was hung up on Darth Vader and bringing like honoring his grandfather or whatever, and Rey is worried about her parents, and she was like, nah, fuck that, your parents are nobody. And then like Kylo Ren's like, okay, destroy the helmet, I don't need the helmet because I'm not Darth Vader, I'm not trying to live up to that on my own thing. And like it kind of made the whole that movie, if that movie was just like maybe even the third movie, If that movie was the third movie, if we took this movie
Yeah.
that we just got, Rise of Skywalker, made this the second one, and then threw The Last Jedi at the end, then I think at that point, then it would make a more cohesive storyline, because the Emperor is dead, everything's done, right? Now we have this storyline where it's like, okay, let the past die, and let's move on, and let's go tell other stories from other characters. So like because we do see that little kid, that force sensitive kid who's sweeping up the starship or whatever, and he pulls it up with the force. Great, okay, now let's go talk about somebody else. But we're not done talking about these characters in this storyline. You can't stray away from that.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like that can't be taken away, because you're kind of just throwing a fucking speed bump in the middle of the whole highway, and you're just doing it because you want to do it.
Yeah, I just think they just missed the mark. They wanted to go 100% their way when it should be a half and half kind of good deal.
I think that's what The Last Jedi's problem is, and it shouldn't have been a sequel. It should probably be the end of a movie. The end of this whole saga would have been fine if it ended that way, so we could go explore other worlds, and not other worlds, I guess other worlds, but like also other characters, other force sensitives, and tell their stories. And I'd be fine with that. What we got is what we got. We can't go back. Let the past die. Am I right?
Live and let die.
Bam, bam, bam. This has been our spoiler cast of the Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, you can find us on Instagram. Got Mad Melvin on Instagram, Mad Melvin TV, Instagram, Twitch. You can find us both on Twitch. Mine is Mad Melvin, and yours is Jalapeno Biz, right?
Jalapeno Biz. Yep. And we'll be doing more of these and more other stuff. Well, like I guess like our podcast overall is separate. So we have our Bros and Shows series that we're doing over on YouTube, where we watch
terrible, absolutely terrible shows and movies too. We'll start including some movies. If you do find us on YouTube, go ahead and let us know what kind of shows and movies that you do want us to go over.
Yeah.
Some of the rare finds that you have that you'd like us to give our little tidbit on.
Definitely. And this is our podcast, so we are not always going to do, I guess, kind of reviewy stuff on here. We will when we feel like we need to or want to. This is going to be more so like topical, so things that we find interesting or things that just come up every day that we want to talk about. Trying to keep it light, keep it fun. And if you guys have any topics you want to hear, make sure to go to our YouTube channel or follow us on Instagram and let us know anything you want us to cover, talk about, or we should watch. But that being said, I am Jalapeno Biz.
And I'm Mad Melvin.
And we'll see you on the next one.
Out.